Hello, today I'm going to be doing a quick recap of Legends of Tomorrow Season 2. I think you can watch Season 2 without ever having seen Season 1. Season 2 begins with Dr. Nate Haywood, an historian looking for the legends with the help of one Oliver Queen. And he ends up joining the crew, and when he does, he learns that Rip had scattered the legends throughout time to stop an atomic bomb from detonating off the coast of New York circa 1942. And with the help of McRory, Nate and he find all of the legends except for Rip Hunter, who is missing until about midway through the season. The team goes back to 1942 to stop the atomic bomb again. And there they meet the Justice Society of America, the JSA, and they discover that Nate is actually the grandson of Captain Steele. They also meet Amaya Jaway, aka Vixen, who we know through her granddaughters in present time. And she ends up also joining the team as as the captain of the JSA / her lover was murdered by a speedster. This season's big bad is actually a bad trio, and they are comprised of the Reverse Flash, Eobard Thawne, who we know from The Flash, as well as two people he enlists from Arrow, Damien Darhk and Malcolm Merlyn. I think the Legion of Doom is spectacular. I love that they're the villains this season. They, honestly, I think they work, specifically Eobard, played by the original actor, not Tom Cavanaugh, and Damien Darhk work so well in Legends. I just think Malcolm Merlyn works well everywhere, but specifically Damien Darhk is such a great ad for Legends. So Eobard, we know, was erased when his ancestor, Eddie Thawne, shot and killed himself in season 1 of The Flash. But because Eobard is part of the Speed Force, he hasn't fully specifically been erased yet. So he's running to stop himself going into like non-existence, as like this like rotted looking Black Flash is after him. And to make himself real again, he needs to use the Spear of Reality and a talisman, which is very Raiders-like, and we'll get back to that. So Nate Haywood ends up developing powers from this super serum that Eobard created for Nazis and that Ray manipulated to allow him to turn into steel, and also cures something that he's been affected with his whole life, hemophilia. And this ends up granting him his lifelong dream of becoming a hero like his grandfather. And throughout the season, he and Amaya begin to have a slowly developing relationship, which is actually kind of problematic, again, because we know that she has granddaughters who aren't through him. In the next episode, Ray loses his supersuit, and I really like this as we kind of see his character struggling with this, starting back in Arrow and continuing into the first season of Legends, and now this persists, his wanting to prove that he's more than just a supersuit, and as it would turn out, having 4 PhDs is kind of useful, oddly enough. Let's put the respect on education. Anyway, he's always kind of suffered that inferiority complex, and, he doesn't deserve it. He's a sweetie. He does end up being able to rebuild his suit after they find some dwarf star in the Old West, which is cool. I should also mention that Sarah Lance at this point is the lead of the Legends, the captain, while Rip is missing, so she's the interim captain. And we can kind of see her slowly take on this role of leadership that is perfect for her. Due to some time meddling, Martin creates an aberration in the form of a daughter, Lily. And at first he feels very guilty, and then he's very hesitant to tell any of the crew because he doesn't want to, erase his daughter. But this actually becomes a really wonderful newfound purpose that he has in being a father, which is fantastic. And the team does eventually find Rip with no memories, living in the 1960s as a film student with one George Lucas. And there we've come back to the Raiders of it all. Rip had previously enlisted Captain Steele, Nate's grandfather, to go to the 1970s and hide the Spear of Destiny. He actually enlisted the help of a number of the JSA. Unfortunately, some of them are actually killed by the Legion of Doom to get their parts of the Spear of Destiny, which have at this point been broken up. Captain Steel has hid his piece of the Spear of Destiny on the moon, and Eobard Thawne actually hijacks Apollo 13 so that he can get it back, which is a very interesting episode. And Captain Steel ends up sacrificing himself in order to save the Legends, and it's kind of really depressing. In the end, the Legends are able to destroy the spear and erase Eobard from existence using some time tomfoolery. That was very difficult to say, by the way. And they do end up having to interact with their past selves, which is a time no-no. The season ultimately ends with Rip leaving the Wave Rider to start a time bureau, and the Legends going to modern day to find that there are like dinosaurs, and it looks very Flintstones-esque, Flintstones meets the Jetsons, rather. And they do run into Rip, who is now 5 years older, and he returns to relieve them of their time-traveling duties and of the Wave Rider, as they've just broken too many rules. Okay, so that has been a very brief and yet oddly long recap of Season 2 of Legends of Tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day!